America's Accountant, coming up next. Joining us now, Dan Geltrude, CPA and market analyst. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy Thanksgiving. We really appreciate your insights on this holiday. We're kicking this off with the rail strike. A lot of focus on this. The president said he hasn't been directly involved in negotiations at this point in time. Your thoughts on the potential? It's been averted once, but it looks like it's looming again.
Well, this is a very big deal, Molly. Look, they thought they had a done deal with the unions back in September. And within that deal, that was going to be the highest raise in 50 years. And it got turned down. So what does that mean? It means it's going to cost even more for this rail strike to be averted. Either way, we're looking at prices going up. Why? Because if people on the rails are going to end up being paid more, that's going to get passed through. If this strike happens and we can't get products from point A to point B, we are going to have a huge breakdown in the supply chain. And what does that mean when demand is so high? More inflation.
Yeah, and we're also on the cusp of winter. There's a diesel problem to be handled. This is not going to help with that. People are going to be heating their homes and worrying about those costs in the coming days. So what is the overall fallout, the potential of this? How much should Americans, the everyday American, expect their life to be affected if this happens, which could potentially, apparently, December 5th, by as soon as December 5th?
Everyone is going to be impacted if there's a rail strike. And of course, yes, some of that is going to translate into energy costs, no question about it. And people think about, you go to the pump and it's expensive to fill up. True, but it's a big problem when you have diesel fuel prices going up. Why? Again, because products using trucks, for example, going from point A to point B, everything becomes more expensive. So all of us end up paying more. So I think we all have to hope that we don't end up in a situation where we have this rail strike, because that is going to be pain for everyone across the country.
The president got involved most recently, the first time this was averted. Now it looks like it's looming again. But he said there over on Nantucket that he is not directly engaged at this point in time. Should he be directly engaged?
I don't see why he has to be directly engaged in this. I think that, both sides have representatives. What's the president going to say? Please don't strike. We'll give you more money. Is he going to threaten them? So I think Joe Biden may just as well sit on the sideline here and let others take care of this matter. I'm sure he'll have plenty to say, and I'm sure if it's averted, he's going to take credit. But I still say I'd rather see him on the sideline.
Yeah, so on to the other topic we want to talk about. We're not seeing any break in inflation as far as we can tell. The Federal Reserve officials anticipating, though, this downshift in the pace of rate increases. So they've been ticking up. We've been watching that. What could this potentially signal?
Well, it could signal that they're going to only raise interest rates by 50 basis points as opposed to 75 basis points, which is the track that they had been on. But look, the number one reason that they're raising interest rates is to get inflation under control and, of course, bring it down. Right now, we're at 7.7%. That number is not something we should celebrate. It's just a less terrible number than we previously had. So I think we're a long way off from getting inflation under control. And if the Fed only ends up going 50 basis points, I don't know how much good that's going to do.
Yeah. The big thing about this is the housing market. Just things are frozen right now. So what does this potentially mean for people, mortgage rates, the people that are dreaming of finally getting into maybe their first home or moving, and they can't? Like, where's the end of that?
So
where can we move on to the next chapter in that story?
So interest rates are basically more than double where they were a year ago, right? So we would look at that and say, well, that's not good. And when you look at its impact, it should start to take housing prices down. Because remember, anyone who's looking to buy a home, it comes down to what is your monthly mortgage payment going to be? So that mortgage interest rate and the price of the house, they kind of move up and down in the opposite direction. So what we're seeing now is, and what we're going to see is, prices coming down to try to level that off. A lot of people right now are putting away that American dream and say, you know what, I think we're going to have to rent for a while until both the housing prices come down and mortgage interest rates also start to come down.
Or, a lot of people have the bright idea, I can't afford to get into the new house, but maybe I'll build on this house. But not if there's a major supply chain issue that's going to strike in December. Just your thoughts on the Americans that are trying to live that American dream right now and what we're facing in these coming weeks heading into this Christmas season.
Look, it's all about budget, and people have to live within their means. One disturbing fact out there is credit card debt is growing and growing for so many people. And with interest rates going up, it's becoming really expensive to be in debt on your credit cards. So that, to me, is the big warning to everybody. You're out there shopping, don't just take out that credit card. Actually have cash on you and only spend what you have, because people get involved in emotional spending during the holidays. You got to try to resist that. I know it's hard, but the financial price that you could pay for that could be devastating.
Yeah. Thank you so much for talking to us on this holiday and about these upcoming holidays. And I feel like we'll need to talk to you again, certainly in January, when this all wraps up, and we'll see where we end up in just a matter of weeks. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Dan Geltrude, for your insights.
Thank you, Molly.
Arthel?